This one-on-one session is with Kerrie from Dumbleton Duds. Now, for Kerrie, she has always been much more proactive in Facebook, and to now sort of go across and start dabbling in Instagram, she's feeling a little bit lost, but also unsure about what it is that she should be sharing. Now, in this conversation here, we really uncovered about why she doesn't necessarily need to even go into Instagram and how she can actually leverage Facebook and Facebook groups so much better with quality content that's really going to elevate her absolutely gorgeous creations that she does. So this is Kerrie from Dumbleton Duds. Kerrie from Dumbleton Duds, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much, Lena.
Do you want to just give me a little bit of context about how you got started with your artisan brand and how long you've been going for as well?
Dumbleton Duds actually started around 20 odd years ago when my children were
Wow.
young. Yeah. And so I did it as a stay-home mum, and I was sewing and going to the markets, and it took off. But then life got busy as kids grew up, and so I went back to work full time, and it didn't happen. So then I started probably about 5 years ago sewing again as a stress release from that day job. And it's taken off from there, and now I'm retired. And so I can sew all day, every day.
So tell me a little bit about, because I know when you started and your kids were little, I'm guessing that's why you started in the aspect of kids clothing. Now we're talking about right now. What's your motivation, your drive, and your passion to be doing kids clothing now?
I'm not a grandmother, so
Mm.
it's my grandma fix.
I love that. I think my mum and dad could very much relate to that. Before I had my son, they were trying everything they possibly could to gently encourage me to that they would love to be become grandparents.
Yeah, yeah. It'll
So
happen one day.
it will, it will. So talk to me about how you're currently selling your creations.
Um, I was in a local shop here,
Yeah.
and it was going okay. We went away because we're retired. We travel, so that was very good for me. Now I'm selling only at markets because the shop has closed.
Okay.
Um,
And that
and
happens, I think, with group shops as well. That can happen because there are a lot of work to organize as well, having that group sort of shop. And I think retail is a pretty tough gig as well.
very. We've been in business, so we know how tough it is as well. Yeah.
So
And
talk
so,
to me about the markets and how your product performs at the markets.
well, the last market I did, it didn't go so well. But I'm hoping we're looking at different markets now, and we're hoping to go to particular niche areas. So maybe in smaller towns where they don't have the shops, and just to promote, and then I can piggyback on with the online sales.
Yeah, fantastic. And so with the customer, like when we're talking about who your ideal customer is, who do you think your ideal customer is? Or who do you think your customer is as a whole?
That's a very good question. And one that your masterclass has forced me to really think about. Originally, I thought it was people like me, grandmas,
Yeah.
my age, but it's not.
Mm.
It's young mums.
Oh, interesting. Young
Yeah,
mums looking for something a little bit different. And when we talk about young mums buying them,
yeah,
because, if we're taking like your little romper set as an example, because you've got that in quite a few different prints, is
yeah.
that one of the more popular items that's selling?
I only make that particular
Oh,
item.
it's only that one. Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, that makes it really easy.
yeah.
So, do you know what they're buying it for? Like, is it everyday use or is it for a special occasion? Or what on
It
top of
varies.
that do you know?
It varies. It can be for their first birthday,
Yeah.
but it can be just for day-to-day use when they go out,
Yeah.
because it's easy. They just put a baby onesie on and put the pants on over the top. Kids dressed. It's so easy.
Yes.
They don't require any work. Um, and I've even narrowed it down further, because I've
Great.
given this question a lot of thought. My customer is mums of baby boys.
Oh, interesting. And I think, having been a mother of baby, of a baby boy, is that the market is a lot more limited as well as to
Mm,
what you can get because it's all about, the cute girl sort of styling. But there is very few options in the little boy aspect.
correct. Yes.
That's a huge unlock as far as how you can think about actually reaching out to that customer as well. And it's not to say that you're only going to do things for little boys, but
No.
it's great to keep it in mind because when you're thinking about the product mix that you might be offering, that's a really good place to start as well.
Yes.
So, in the form that you'd filled out for prior to this session, you'd spoken about social media in particular, about wanting to get a bit more insights with that. Talk to me about what you're currently doing with social media.
So I understand Facebook. I do
Great.
not understand Instagram.
Yep. Yep.
And that's where my ideal customer hangs out.
Ooh, maybe.
Maybe. So I've undertaken a little bit of work in Instagram. I've
Yep.
set up, and because it links across, I've set up so that anything I post on one is the other.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it's doing my head in, and I'm finding I don't know if what I'm doing is getting the results. So I'm trying to figure out what to do.
I think when we're looking at the different channels, there's two sort of parts of this conversation because, of course, we want to be where your customer is first and foremost. But we also want to make sure that you're building a business that you love and can really embrace as well. Now, are you active on Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the greatest things that I think that gets missed on Facebook is that a much larger proportion of people are on Facebook than is, I guess, assumed. And it's due to two things. First and foremost, it's Facebook groups.
Yes.
And especially when we're talking about mums, because most mums will be in Facebook groups because it could be that they're in mothers groups. It could be that it's one to do with their kindy. It could be one to do with school, like all of these different groups that are online. And I think definitely as a young mum, you're almost not forced to, but that's where the information is shared. So it
Mm.
means that they will absolutely be using Facebook too. So I wouldn't jump to straight away assuming that your customer's not on Facebook. That would
Okay.
probably be the first bit. And the other thing that also pulls a huge number of customers to Facebook is Facebook Marketplace.
Ah,
And so when we're talking about young mums as well who are buying things, they also might be looking for things to upgrade in their home. You'll find a lot of young mums are actually actively using Facebook Marketplace as well.
okay.
So talk to me a little bit about when you're on Facebook and when you're doing posts, what is it that you're sharing?
Um, I have been consuming anything that you put up online. Um, so I'm trying to do stories that don't directly relate to my product,
Right?
and
Give me an
trying.
example. I'm going to pull it up on the side as well. I'm going to pull
Oh,
up your Facebook here on the side so I can have a look.
okay.
But talk to me about what those stories might be like.
Um, I think one day I posted about, hey, I'm trying to learn Instagram. And that was a bit of a funny thing. I think another day I posted about a bit of a joke about sewing being the only place where it's socially acceptable to stab something repeatedly. Just,
Oh my God, I can so relate to that. That's hilarious.
yeah,
Um,
just little things like that.
So when I'm taking like a quick look at your Facebook page, and we'll share this in this interview as well, just so that you can, so that others can see this.
Mm.
One of the things that gets me, I guess, purely just at a straightaway sort of glance, is that we don't really have very much engagement on the posts. And we have very little, I guess, prompts in order for the customer to be engaged with the posts. And what I mean by that is that it's very much set up as a business page, and you're like, this is my product, and I'm showing you the product, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
But what happens in that is that when, and I'm sure you would notice this yourself, right? If you're having a look at Facebook and you're scrolling through, you will automatically know whether something is an ad or not. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so what do you do when you see an ad?
Quickly swipe up,
Quickly
go
swipe.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling. And
Yeah.
so when I'm looking at the type of content that you're doing, and I think the reason why so many artisans love Instagram is that because they get to curate a bit of a grid, but I don't necessarily think that it means that you need to put your energy into something that you may not see the return on, and that
Hmm.
there would be other things that you could be doing on Facebook to get a lot more interaction and to actually activate your page, because you've got a good following. Like you've got here, I'm looking at your page and you've got 244 followers, which is
Yeah.
absolutely nothing to sneeze at, right? That is a really good place to start.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at what you're delivering, I'm going, oh, well, my question is to you, what would you click on?
I'm not sure. um, I think it would have to be a particular thing that I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Lena,
I
help.
think no, and I totally get it. And I'm just going to push back gently a little bit with you on this. Is that what I would say is that the best way to start with social media is to really think about what makes you stop and look. And because when I'm looking at what you're creating, it's very much sitting almost like a catalog. Now, catalog sprinklings can be good, but the reality is that because it's got such an ad look and feel, and you're
Yeah.
close, and I'm going to pinpoint kind of like a few posts that I think that you could go further with, but if you can make them a bit more engaging, now it's not to say that you're going to get instant engagement on these posts, but this is sort of just like one part of the strategy that you can look at for really leveraging Facebook in order for you to be able to get more sales online. Because markets are fantastic. And I still think that the biggest thing with in-person markets that I think many artisans perhaps overlook or don't think about is that when you're at a market, you get something that is more valuable than most interactions that you'll get online, and which is where you get to see the direct response of customers firsthand.
Mm.
And it becomes almost like an opportunity for you to become the investigator of, oh, what did they pick up? What were their comments? Like almost in every interaction, it's like you're going after that person leaves, writing down all the notes of everything that they do, because those are clues for what you can share online. Now, when I look, and I think I had mentioned this in our private Facebook group as well about your picture, and it's are we calling them rompers? Is that what we call them?
I just call them pants.
Pants. Okay. So with the sunflower pants that you've got, now the in the cover post that you've got, and it's a combination one, but you've got a post that you did, which is in March, only a couple of days ago, and you've got sizes available from 3 months to 2 years, and you show the picture of the pants, right, which are absolutely gorgeous. I can see how many mums would absolutely love this. Now, you've had 6 shares on that post already.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that would be me.
How would you be able to share it 6 times?
Oh, there's ways.
Are you using multiple? These are you sharing them in groups?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I wouldn't do then.
Oh, okay.
Because what's happening in this situation, right, is it's almost like if you're going into a group and you're posting, you should be posting in a group,
Ah.
not sharing content.
Okay. Okay.
Because what happens again, and I really like, I just want to keep pushing back with you a little bit on this, but
Yeah.
when you're in Facebook groups, notice what you think when someone just shares a post,
Yep.
as
Okay.
opposed to someone who's like taking the time to get to know people in the group and actually says share something of relevance, and then
Okay.
it pops up and it makes sense. So
Yes.
let's just use this pants as an example, right? And almost as well, I want to say that Facebook's algorithm, if you're the one sharing and doing all the engagement on the post, it's almost like it looks fake.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like it's
Yeah.
not natural organic shares that are happening. And
Yes.
whereas if we take this one where it's got the sunflowers and the bees, tell me one of the Facebook groups that you're involved in.
Um, Mums in Mackay with Sundays.
Okay, perfect. So you could have a picture that shows that exact picture, right? And you
Yeah.
could start a post with the thing that I love about yellow is it's not pink, it's not blue, it's letting your child be their own version or something.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or are you or and you can write it, you want to almost write it a bit conversational, right? And you want to kind of, it's not tricking the other algorithm, but what it's doing is that you want to make it like you're having a conversation. Let's say if we're talking about yellow as an example, it's like writing something like, why do boys always have to wear blue?
Ah, okay.
Now,
Yes.
you see how in that moment, you've created an opportunity to really pinpoint who your customer is.
Yes.
And you haven't said mums, you haven't
No.
said mums with boys, you haven't said buy this item.
Yeah. Mm.
And so in that moment, that's where you start to create real engagement. And you can
Yes.
add on a question at the end of it, like, why are boys' clothes only in blue? Or who said boys only have to wear blue or something like that? And then you could say, is this driving you crazy too?
Okay. Yes.
And then
Yes.
all of a sudden you're creating a conversation. Now, I think that it's really good. Like if we're talking about or thinking about Facebook, right, is that you want to kind of think of Facebook almost like something that needed all of the different spaces to work together. And what I mean by this is that it's kind of like all the different areas are working in harmony. So we've got your business page, right? That's like the base. And it means that anytime that you're creating conversations with people, they can go there and just check, who are you? Where do you sell? Are other people interested in it? What's the dealio with this person? And some of the things that you would want to have in there is like your location in Australia, your made it website, to your store, obviously, your made it store.
Yes.
You'd also want to have a bit more information about you so that when someone goes to your Facebook page, let's say you've put that post in this group and you've created some engagement, I guarantee they will click over and go and see who you are on your business page if they like what they see.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are more likely to do that than they are to perhaps click through and shop. And it's almost like if you imagine, when you're kind of creating, oh, you can take this like example from even like with what you do at the markets, right? When you're at in-person markets, often there can be like a whole kind of like dance that happens where someone walks past, they might like it, they might look at it. You might have had a conversation about, oh my goodness, I love sunflowers. They make me so happy. And sunflowers are definitely one of those flowers that's a very common point of discussion. Same with bees. So that's a really clever print that you've got there that I believe you'll be able to get a lot of leverage from that one print. But the same thing kind of works on Facebook, right? So what you want to do is think about what you're doing in the Facebook groups as creating relationships and starting conversations.
Yeah.
Then if that person is interested in what you're doing, they can literally then go to your business page and go, oh, what can I know about this brand? Now you can relate this to perhaps what might work for you at the markets. So when someone comes and sees you at the markets, Here are some of the things that they know about you: handmade, small business, you've made them, you're the creator. There's a warmth that happens with you that creates the sale in that moment.
Yes.
Now, one of the things, where you were saying that you had originally thought that customers were going to be more like you and someone who
Mm.
would be buying it as a gift. But it's really interesting because I'd be interested to look inside, their brains and their emotions and wonder whether there's a connection that happens with you because you have the feel of a grandma.
Oh,
But do you know what I mean?
yes,
Because
I
there's
do.
lots of there's lots
Yeah.
of scenarios and stories that naturally create emotion when we think about grandma as an avatar, right?
Yes.
Safety, warmth, nurturing, caring, made with love, skills known for forever, right? And so it's almost like, how can you bring that in to your engagements that you're doing online and
Yes.
what you're presenting in Facebook?
Yeah.
Because even though online is totally different to in person, it shouldn't be.
No. No. I understand now. Yeah.
So, which was the masterclass that you did, Kerrie?
Why am I not getting sales? I'm nearly
Okay.
finished. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So I think there's a few in there that are going to be really key segments for you. But I think first and foremost, and I'm seeing it in the new imagery that you've got coming through, and I keep using that shot of you holding the pants against the green, right? Like there is so much going on in that image that is show don't tell. It is amazing. The grass, the natural, the sunflower, the bees, the happiness, you having your hands on it, you've handmade it, the joy and the love and the attention that's gone into this piece that's ready for the baby and the child that you love so much and are giving
Mm.
all your attention to.
Mm.
So now it's about, okay, well, what would be some of the conversations that might go on if I'm at the markets? And I'm just going to go with the scenario here, right?
Okay.
Actually, when I said to you, are we calling this a romper? And you're
Yeah.
like, no, we just call it a pant. And you straight away said, oh, they're great to use every day. They don't fall down. I'm assuming there's an elastic or something in there
No.
that keeps them.
No.
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 So
No.
how do I know that?
I think on my last post, because I'm twigging on to a few things that you've put up in a few different videos.
Yep.
So I think I've identified about 4 different things. And the very first one is that there's no elastic because sometimes you have
Mm.
a reaction
Oh,
to elastic and it's not very comfortable. So the band is actually doubled over. So it's the same fabric, just doubled over. And I cover stitch it so the stitching is able to be stretched without breaking.
do you know, I was just having a thought there, and it was something that I had literally just looked at before we jumped on this call, something completely different. Anyway, but it was an image where someone had used a graphics where it makes it look like it's a text message. And I'm thinking like you could, even in one of your shots, create a graphic, and I can show you how to do this in Canva. Are you using Canva?
I've just started again.
Oh, well, heads up, go and like if you haven't done the masterclass on Introduction to Canva, it's so good for just giving you all the basic stuff that you need.
Okay.
But anyway, what I was thinking is that you could literally have a picture which looks like it's come from Facebook Messenger. And it's a
Yes.
back and forth where mum says, does this have elastic in it? My baby gets allergies or what my little boy and let's use a current name, right? My little boy Ari, you can use Ari, right? My son, but like a modern name.
Yeah.
Or my son Dylan, he gets a reaction to elastic. Do your pants have elastic in it? And you just write your little answer, but really as short and precise as you can, not getting
Yep.
into too much detail. You could use that as one of your product images.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just,
Yeah.
and that's not to say that's the only way to do it, right? But I'm like, just saying that I think that it's kind of like we're creating a journey for your customers. So if we think about it for you specifically, right?
Yep.
I wouldn't stress about Instagram. I really wouldn't. Like,
Okay.
I don't believe that you have to go to Instagram to find your customer. I believe that there will still be a huge proportion of your customers who are on Facebook because I think we can get stuck in the tech sometimes.
Mm, yeah.
We're like, oh, I've got to learn this new tech and I've got to learn this new thing. It's like, but what if we just gave this one a proper go first?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
So
Sounds good.
are you posting much in the Made It group, the public group?
Initially, I was,
Yeah.
but I've stopped because I didn't want to put the same thing up all the time. um,
So this is part of it. So again, when we're talking about this journey, right? This specific journey, I would say, for you in particular, right? Because every artisan is on their own journey, but I think it's a great example which applies to so many artisans. If we think about the journey, that I would start thinking about your groups that you're involved in. And maybe you just stick with the groups that you're in now, but maybe also as well, it's time for a little bit of a let's just see which groups are really the best ones to be in for you. And maybe only focus on 3 or 4 groups, right? Now, your strategy here is going to be to create reputation and build engagement in those groups and build genuine connections. Now, that isn't about saying, hey, I sell this, this is what I do, go buy this, right? This is about you engaging on other posts. And like, let's say if the mums one that you were saying that you're in,
yes.
I would start going through. Now, you already know that your customer has boys.
Yeah.
So whenever you see someone who's got a post about their boy, you can pop on and start to engage on that post. And you'll be able to do it very naturally. That's not like this is like, oh, I'm going to go in and pretend to do this. I know that it would only be genuine and authentic coming from you, and that you would be responding, for things that make sense. And
Yes.
then
Okay.
all of a sudden, once you start to build reputation and build connection in those groups, then you also start to share content. And what will happen is that the people that you have already engaged with and started to create connections will also engage with the post that you share.
Okay. Yep.
Because groups work on kind of and again, I keep pulling back everything to because you've had experience with in-person markets.
Mm.
Like often at markets, there'll be a few stalls and it's because you create friendships in markets.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you've got connection with other stall holders. And like let's say if you've got someone else that's perhaps doing something else for babies, but it's not clothing, right? But it kind of works uh alongside each other, they might say, oh, you've got to go over and check out Kerrie's pants. They're so beautiful. They would go with this so well. Or perhaps it's someone who's doing a baby gift thing and they go, oh, pop over and get some pants from Kerrie as well to make a beautiful little kit. Facebook groups are the same.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're going to be creating those connections. You're going to be creating that engagement. And then you can also start to see, like, what are the posts that are doing really well in this group and why?
How would I find that out?
So you can just look through. Usually, when you go to within a Facebook group, and you can use it on desktop or on your mobile, but there should be a filter to change the post that you're seeing. It could be most recent, or it could be most popular.
Okay. All
And
right.
all of a sudden, you'll start to get a feel for which are the posts that are doing really well and who is the person that's actually posting, and start to go through and look at everything that they do.
Okay.
Because, one of the really great comments that I love is that success leaves clues, right? So if you've got your investigator hat on, you can
Yeah.
literally start going through and go, okay, well, what if I looked into this? Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And how could I apply this to my business? And
Mm-hmm.
then with your Facebook page, we want to start re-engineering that to really give it the feel of Dumbleton Duds, right? And so, give me a few key words. Like if we were going to talk about your brand, what would be some key words to describe it?
I've been saying they're the perfect pants, like just to.
I love that.
Um, I think, yeah, I think the fact there's no elastic, that I'm the person doing the making, you know, the marketing, the everything else in between. It stops with me. So, I'm not going to put something out that isn't the best that I can do.
Okay. This is a great clue. I love this. I love it. See, this is what happens when we start to talk about what it is that we do, that there's all
Yeah.
these clues that start to unfold. Okay, what you said in there is that you're not going to put out anything that's of lesser quality. You're the one that's doing all the making. Now, there's a few more bits in there that I think are worth sharing. You're
Okay.
also the one picking the fabric.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so when we talk about mums, what is the first thing that they do when they pick up the item?
They remark how soft the fabric is.
Soft it
Yeah,
is.
that
Okay, so
it's yeah.
so even in that, that's where we're starting to create some content, right? You could start doing some video.
But
You can some video of yourself having a
okay.
look and talking about the fabrics. So when we're talking about stories that you might be sharing, I mean, what a fantastic story to go. You could go have a whole heap of fabrics and go, I bought this fabric and I really love it, but it just doesn't meet the soft test. And you could literally pick it up, rub it against your face and go,
Okay.
no, I would never use that.
Righto.
So see how in that moment though, you're starting to create a a catalog, but it's not a catalog, right? I think at the moment with what you've got on Facebook, it very much has a catalog feel.
Yeah.
Whereas what we want to do is we want to try and create the experience of if I was walking up to you in the markets,
Mm,
everything that's going on. So I'm meeting your warm eyes, your warm smile, your softness,
mm.
right? And so it's really interesting because there's lots of characteristics I see in you that I see in your creations as well.
Oh, thank you.
But there's a little, but we're not sharing that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think that, and look, what I was saying before about your avatar, your personal avatar
Mm.
being the grandma, right? Are you okay with me using this
Oh yeah.
reference?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So if we're talking about you in this avatar of you being the grandma, right? Well, it's kind of like, what are some of the words that we could even brainstorm around grandma? Now, some of the words that we can put in with grandma, I'm just sharing mine: experience, uh, tips and tricks with Bubs,
Oh,
right? Like there's all of these things that it's like, grandma's favorite recipe, and it's just something that's been handed down and da da da. But there's a knowledge and respect piece that goes into that.
yeah.
So one thing, like let's just talk about this group again with the mums.
Yeah.
Imagine you put up a post there and you just said, uh, you shared your knowledge about elastic.
Mm.
Because you were saying to me straight away that sometimes babies can be allergic to elastic.
Mm.
Many mums won't know that.
Mm.
So if you're coming on and you're sharing it, because I mean, when you're a young mum, there's so much going on that you're trying to work out. It's like having a puppy. You're like, I don't know what's going on, but I know they're having a reaction. I'm trying to work it out, but I don't know. And it's like just one thing to be a little bit conscious of is that, when you're buying mass produced as well, often a lot of the fabrics have a lot of chemicals in them. And also it can be within like the elastic and stuff that's inside the garment. Now,
Yeah.
you don't have to mention anything about the fact that you make pants. Just in that moment, that's where you're starting to become the authority in this space. Because
Mm.
if anyone knows pants, baby pants, it's you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just in that moment, you can start to create content that's warmer and content that is more like what you do at the markets.
Mm. Yeah.
Have you got a markets coming up?
There's a few. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, they're
great.
starting to kick off. Yeah.
Great. So, what I would do is I would use this as an opportunity, of course, to make sales. That's first and foremost. But what if, like, do mums look for baby pants?
They do. So do other customers. The grandmas do. That's why it took a lot of thinking about who is my customer.
Yeah,
And it's a bit weird actually, because if it's for boys specifically and the couple are together,
yeah.
the mum will always defer to, well, not always, most times will defer to her partner. What do you think about this?
Do you know, I just straight away go to, I think that it helps the partner to be involved because the mother is so involved, right? And that's just naturally, we're the ones that have given birth. But it's like, I think it actually allows space for the mother to say to the partner, hey, what do you like? I want to make the baby really attractive and pretty to you. And that's quite a natural animal behavior method
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
But what I was saying with the baby pants, right, is
Mm.
that where I'm getting to specifically with that, and you will know when you have customers that you get those customers that you could just chat and chat and chat to them, and they're very open to give feedback, right?
Yeah.
Where you could sort of say to them, "Hey, question, because I'm working really hard to build up my online business, and I guarantee you, if you tell a young mom that you're working really hard to build up your online business, they will gush and give you so much information and ideas. It's not funny because they
Okay.
will love that. They'll be like, oh my goodness, that is so cool, right? So you could say, if you were like, would you search for this online? Like, would you go? You can say this to the person
Okay.
that's buying from you and just go, what would you call it if you were searching for it? And if not, what would you be searching for? Because what
Rightio.
we're doing in this moment is that oh, you haven't done the product page masterclass. You didn't do the product page? No.
No.
Okay. So in that we go into also having really great titles for your product
Yes. I think
because in,
I have
sorry,
seen
go.
some videos. I have seen some videos um, because I have stalked your YouTube channel
I love that, Kerrie. Comment, comment.
and watched a number of them. Yes. So I
Fantastic.
have revamped my Made It descriptions just
Perfect.
recently. Yes.
Because
And I
what
think
we're doing, oh,
mm,
sorry, go.
Stacey also, I think it was Stacey, um, when I first started out, sent me an email saying, you need to have this, this, and this in your description. I went, oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
Stacey's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. And I
yeah.
think it's two-part here because we want to make sure that when those mums who may not have come through your store are coming to Made It, and then they're putting in a search, that your products come up.
Yes.
So it's kind of again, right? Like we're talking about that it's like a machine, right? With all we need all the parts working together for it to get into that smooth process. And you're in a really good point here, Kerrie. Like your product is beautiful, right? So you've got a huge advantage with the fact that really you don't need to change anything about your product at all. It's just about now creating a system that's going to work to support getting repeat sales. And because of the nature of your product, it's very easy for you to make this into a repeatable buy
Okay.
product.
Okay.
So I think a few examples of kind of what you can do in the markets. And I just really want to start there first because you've got them coming up. And I think it's such a good, juicy time. Write down everything, write down as much as you can, or take a voice memo on your phone to remind yourself. But
Yes.
who are they buying it for?
Yes.
Uh, how many are they buying? Like, and write down as much as you can about the person that's buying from you, but also engage with them and go, oh, is this something that you'd give as a gift? Like, and if you've got some ideas for some gift wrapping that you might do to create baby gift sets, right? Because you could put
Ah,
literally three of your rompers together, pants. I don't know why I keep calling it rompers.
it's okay.
No, it's just making me think, what are people searching for? That's what I guess, wondering.
Okay.
Anyway, that's an aside. But if you took three of your pants and you put them together in a kit and you did a bow across it, right? Then all of a sudden you've got a baby gift set, right? And you could have newborn baby gift set, baby boy gift set, baby girl gift set. Now, you haven't created any new product in this method of bundling. You've just put it together to test out what others think.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you've already got this beautiful base. You've got great interaction happening at the markets. And if you're off traveling as well, are you traveling in a caravan or are you traveling like
Yeah.
just going on trips?
Yeah. Van. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you can follow Beck and everything that she does and see how she's been able to sell on the road as she goes. Because I tell you, that would be a wonderful add-on to your story as well in your Facebook page,
Okay.
where
What?
you've got photos along the line. It's showing you're Australian, you're coming to the next
Ah,
town. Like you've all of a sudden got all these. And so if you're in this group, right, and I just keep going back to the mums group, and you're creating this beautiful environment, these beautiful conversations and connections. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm coming to South Australia.
okay.
Can you tell me the best markets to go to in South Australia?
Yes. That sounds
Oh
great.
my goodness, Kerrie, this is fantastic. I can't wait to see your product in person. And then when that person comes up
Yeah.
and you say to them, oh, I can't wait to meet you as well, please come up and introduce yourself. And then when they come up, you take a photo and you share it in the group.
Ah, yes, I see. Yep.
So it's all like just, Hansel
Hmm.
and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs along the way. And at the end, you get to put it together to make a beautiful cake.
Yeah. Okay.
Not an actual cake,
Oh,
but you know what I mean.
yeah. Yeah. Fabulous ideas. Wow.
One last question for you.
Uh-huh.
What is the one thing that you're
Mm.
going to do today after this call?
I'm going to put a post in the mum's page
Yep,
that isn't like an ad. That is maybe just talking about being a mum
yep,
and being a mum in particular of boys.
yep.
Maybe share that they grow up and into beautiful men. I
I
don't
love
know.
that. I love that. And do you know what my one tip would be before
Yeah.
doing a post?
Yeah.
Spend 1 hour in that group getting to know people.
Okay. Yeah.
So that then when you share a post, you've already engaged. And if this particular group that you're talking about is the one that's going to be the focus, then
Yeah.
pop some times in your diary or in your head or on a piece of paper that says, I'm going to be in those groups at these key times each week. I'm going to dedicate, it could be 3 hours a week, right? You're retired, you've got time. It could be like three 1 hour slots where
Yes.
all you're going to do on those days is go through and genuinely read through other people's posts. You're going
Mm.
to genuinely engage. You're going to, build those relationships up and then share posts that make sense to the women that you're connecting with in that group.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds great.
Amazing. I'm so excited for you, Kerrie. Like it really is. I know I've said it, 100 times during this call and before, but I love your creations and you've got an absolute opportunity to make this into a business where it's got a really regular income with it as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lena, for your help.
Amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Kerrie. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
thank you for being such a wonderful member of Made It as well.
Oh, it's a great place.
Oh.
I can't say to people enough that I'm on Made It now. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Our community and our collective is growing and it's very cool to watch it.
Yes, it is. It's great. Thank you very much for facilitating.
Thank you, Kerrie.